Hey guys, it's Kate. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to answer the number one most often question I get asked when I say that I am in nursing school. So you're in nursing school, why not just be a doctor? Okay. Number one question, always, doctor over nurse. Why did I choose to be a nurse when I could just be a doctor? Isn't it like the same thing but more money? Well, here are my top 5 reasons why I decided to be a nurse and not a doctor. Reason number 1, I get done with school faster. So my nursing program to become a registered nurse is 2 years. 2 years. And maybe 4 if you count like all the prerequisites. I did it in 3. And then to get your BSN is another 2. Again, I did it in 3 because I was able to concurrently do my RN and my BSN at the same time. A doctor, however, has to go through his bachelor's program and then 4 years of med school, plus a residency, plus all this other stuff. So it's like 10 years of schooling to get to one specific job. And I don't feel like doing that much. And then to tag on to that, reason number 2, it costs more to become a doctor to get paid more. So why would I spend 10 years in school, racking up school loan after school loan after school loan, to make just a little bit more, right? I mean, I'm still gonna be paying off all that school loan, and it's just gonna be so much more expensive for me to get to that point. Now, in nursing school, I was very fortunate. I won a lot of scholarships that actually ended up paying for the majority of nursing school for me. So I'm going to be, hopefully, it's been planned out that I will be graduating debt-free, and so I will be able to start saving immediately. I would never be able to do that as a doctor unless I was like ridiculously smart, ridiculously gifted, and getting a lot of scholarships. It's just not plausible. The third reason I chose nursing over doctors is because as a nurse, you get a much wider variety of a specialty. As a doctor, you train mostly in one specialty for your entire, because you're doing so much schooling. So by the time you get out of school and you have your specialty, you're like 35, 40, maybe. I don't know the ages. So you don't want to be spending your whole life in one specialty. Like, what if you actually don't really like it that much? So in nursing, you can be in one specialty and then just jump right over to another. You can go from peds to oncology to neuro to labor and delivery, like whatever you really want, as long as you just get that extra like 6-7 months of training to get into those specific fields. Reason number 4 is the healthcare provider to patient ratio. With nurses, depending on what floor you have, if you're in an ICU setting, it could be like 1 nurse to 1 or 2 patients, or maybe a med-surg floor is going to be 1 nurse to 4 or 5 patients. A doctor, such as like an intensivist on an ICU unit, has all of those patients. So maybe like 16 to 20 patients. Med-surg can have up to like 40 patients. So at that point, I kind of like, I feel like as a doctor, I would start to blur the lines between which patient is which, what was happening truly. As a nurse, you are right there on the front lines, in the battlefields, in the trenches, and you are getting that idea of what this patient needs and then communicating that to the doctor. So the doctor is actually looking to the nurse to clarify all of his different patients. So it just makes more sense to become a nurse, and if you want to be able to just verify, like, this is my patient, this is what they need, let me go talk to the doctor and then I'll make sure that they get it. Whereas the doctor says, what do they need? Okay, here's this, maybe I'll make a change here and there, I'll check back in later. I just like the more personable aspect of being a nurse, and that's reason number 5. As a nurse, you are at the bedside the most out of anybody in the healthcare team. And so you get to know these patients, and I want to become an ICU nurse, specifically in pediatrics. So in the ICU setting, patients are there longer, higher acuity, and you get to know the families as well as the patients. When you're the doctor just kind of comes in, sees you, assesses you, and then leaves. They don't take a lot of time to become connected to the patients on an emotional level as the nurses do. So the minute that the doctor leaves the room, that patient's going to turn right to the nurse and say, what's happening? I didn't understand a word he said. Can you help me? I don't feel comfortable with this, something with that. Can you explain this to me? And that's where the nurse comes into. Now, I feel like that's really important because a lot of times patients don't have a lot of trust in the healthcare system. And when you have the nurse there at the bedside, you can ask her all the questions in the world, and she's or he will help you. Doctors sometimes are like, well, I gotta go to see my other 40 patients, so I'll be back later. It wasn't for me. So those are the top 5 reasons why I chose to be a nurse over a doctor. Less school, pay less to get through school, more specialties, more personable, and a smaller patient to healthcare provider ratio. So those are my top 5 reasons why I think you should become a nurse over a doctor. If you have any other reasons why you chose to be a nurse, leave them in the comments down below. Also be sure to subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every week. This past week I was super sick and didn't have any voice, so I couldn't record anything even if I wanted to. Other than that, also be sure to check out my Instagram at Lyrical Fit Chick for all of my nursing school, fitness, and health updates. And other than that, I will see you in the next video.